Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sydney Kate and I'm a Shenandoah Valley wedding and portrait photographer, and today we are talking all about SEO. This is a big dreaded topic among a lot of photographers. How do we get SEO to work for us? How do we even get Google to like us? So today I'm giving you guys my 3 best tips for getting SEO to work for you and how to optimize your blog so that people can find you through Google and through other means. So before we get into anything else, let's define SEO. Search engine optimization is a term that we use that basically just means how do we get people to search us and how do we get our websites to come up through that search. So how do we optimize the words on our blogs, the actual blog elements themselves, so that someone will find us? So why is SEO important? Why are we even talking about this? By using the tips that I'm going to help you with today and all this other stuff that goes into the whole world of SEO, you'll be able to have clients find you instead of you finding them or having them go through word of mouth referrals, which is super powerful, but we need other means for people to find us. Even though search engine optimization kind of seems like this monster we have to tackle, we can make it work for us. We can make SEO work so that people find us. So today we're going to start tackling this monster of SEO by talking about the 3 things that you can do right now for your blog that will help bring people to your website and to your posts. Before we get into step number 1, if you haven't already, I have a whole playlist dedicated to blog education that you can go to right now. I'll link it above. In addition, I have a whole page of blogging resources that includes blog posts, YouTube videos, freebies, and more education, and I have that also linked down below. Also, at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about a freebie just for you guys that is all about a checklist for SEO that you can use for your blog today. So you can find all of that down in the link in the description, and I'll talk about that more at the end of the video. But for now, let's go ahead and jump in. SEO tip number 1, define your focus keywords. So if you are a wedding photographer like myself, there's a few key phrases that you might really want to rank for in SEO. For example, when someone searches Virginia wedding photographer, I want my website to come up. If someone searches Shenandoah Valley wedding, I want my website to come up. Certain things like this, I want people to find me for. So go ahead and write down what keywords do you want people to find for you. This goes for your whole website. So, Shenandoah Valley wedding photographer, Shenandoah Valley portrait photographer, senior photographer, all these things, write down all the tags you want to rank for. And when you have blog posts coming out about specific topics, you're going to have focused keyword phrases for each of those blog posts. So for example, for this blog post all about SEO tips, my focus keyword might be SEO tips or SEO tips for wedding photographers or something like that. So for each blog post you set out, you can have a whole new set of focus key phrases that you want people to search for and for your blog post to come up. So think about what focus key phrases you want to pop up when people search for your whole website and what focus key phrases you want for each blog post individually. Once you have those, we're going to put them everywhere. So for example, for this blog post that goes along with this video for SEO tips for wedding photographers blogs, I want to put those SEO key phrases in several places. Number 1, you want to put it in the title of the blog post. So the title is SEO tips or wedding photography tips for SEO blogs, something like that. You want to put it in the title. For WordPress, it automatically uploads the title as the slug, which is the URL, which is sydneykatephotography.com/3 SEO tips or whatever it is. So you want to make sure it's in your title, in the URL slug, and you also want to make sure that it's pretty much everywhere else. So if you have subheadings, which I highly recommend you do, if you have 2 to 3 subheadings, you should have your focus key phrase also in those subheadings. So you can say SEO tip number 1, focus key phrases, SEO tip number 2. So having them in those focus key phrases will help add to it. Also, you want to make sure that they're in the body text, especially in that first paragraph when you tell people what this whole blog post is going to be about. So make sure that you're writing them naturally into your writing. You don't want to say SEO tips, SEO tips, SEO tips, because that's not going to make people happy when they read your blog, because it's just not going to make any sense. So make sure you put them in there as much as you can for it to sound natural. So especially include it in your first paragraph, but also include it throughout the rest. So you want that focus key phrase to be in there as much as naturally possible so that this whole post will be optimized for that key phrase. So when someone searches it, combined with all the other search engine optimization tips we're about to go over, this blog post in particular will come up for you. SEO tip number 2, blog post length. The longer your post is, the more Google will think that it has valuable information. So if you have a 100-word blog post with the same SEO title key phrases as a post that has 3,000 words, Google is going to send people to the 3,000-word blog post because it automatically has more value. Even if it doesn't, maybe they have 2,500 words of fluff and you have 500 words of good stuff, Google can't tell the difference. So make sure that you are having longer blog posts. For any portfolio sessions I do, I try to talk about my clients and their experiences in no less than 300 words. However, for educational blog posts that I really want to be found on Google and Pinterest and everywhere else, I aim for about 2,000 words. I know that sounds like a heck of a lot, but if you use the 3 time-saving tips I talked about in this video, you'll be able to write it out like crazy. It's going to be a lot easier using those 3 tips, so go ahead and check out that video if you haven't already. So the whole reason why we have more text, more everything, is number 1, so you can have more subheadings, so that you can have more of those focus key phrases. You can have more text to put those focus key phrases in, and all of that's just going to come together. So you're going to have more information that you're talking about, more value, and therefore Google will like you more. So try to have your blog post absolute minimum 300 words, but try to aim for 1,500, 2,000 words, even more if you can. Not only will Google think you have more value, but you will actually be giving more value the more you write. The third SEO tip I have for you guys today is all about linking. So all this linking and everything else goes into making Google think that you have more value to give to your readers than anyone else. So there's 2 different kinds of links that you want to use so that Google thinks you have more value and so you're actually giving more value to your readers. So number 1 are outbound links. Outbound links send people to websites that are not your own. So if you are talking about a certain wedding venue, you can link to that wedding venue site so people can go, if they're interested, people can click on that link and go see more about that wedding venue. So that can be other educational posts, it can be other vendors in your area, it can be other websites that you want people to go to, really anything that you can link people to give them more value, you want to add to it. Google really likes this because what happens is people go from website to website to website, you know, hopping from link to link to link, so they're getting more value across the board. Google really likes this, and you should too because it's really adding more value. But make sure that you click when you add the link, make sure that you have opens in new tabs so people don't get exited out of your own web page. Just a little tip for you. The second type of link is internal links. So this means linking back to your own website. So if you have one blog post, you can link to your contact form at the end if you want people to contact you. You can link to other pages on your website, or even better, you can link people to other blog posts that you have. So if you have a whole series about how to plan your wedding better or how tips for your engagement session or anything else, make sure that you're linking to those blog posts throughout the post and at the end, so that number 1, when people get to the end, they have somewhere else to go, and number 2, you will become an expert in their eyes. You will have so much information that you're linking them to, but they'll have the choice to see how much of an expert you are and how much value you can give them. So the more links you have throughout your articles, the better it will be because you're just adding more and more value. And that's really what SEO is all about. How can we give the most value to our readers, and how do we get Google to see that value? Alright, those are the 3 major SEO tips I have for you today. I really hope they work for you. Go ahead and comment down below if you like them, how they're going for you, and what other SEO tips you have to share with others. But again, I have a full blogging resources page that you can click to. The link is down in the caption below. You can click on that and get access to all of my blog posts, YouTube videos, freebies, and everything that goes into blogging that I have out there for education. Also, be sure to check out the playlist that goes along with this to see all of my other blogging education. To make sure to check out my channel to see what else I have out there. I talk about a whole lot more than blogging, but I really love blogging, so I like talking about it. And then I also have that free guide for you, the whole checklist about things you can do for each blog post for your SEO, so that each blog post is SEO optimized. So thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can support me and you can make sure to see all the upcoming videos. Be sure to like this video so I know you like the content. And thank you so much for coming along. Be sure you can follow me along on Instagram, check out my blog and my website. I have a lot of education out there for you, and I absolutely love interacting with you guys. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.